Hello everyone, how's everybody doing? So I was at a park earlier today recording a video, but as it turns out, the wind made the audio poo-poo. So we're going to try to recreate the magic and dub this video I had recorded earlier today. So as you could see from the title, I want to talk about how eating a carnivorous diet had cured my joints. Check out this Mayan pyramid I'm sitting on, and all the Mayans walking around as the ponies mow down the lawn and the train ain't going nowhere. Anywho, just to give you some background information, I was for maybe 15 years. Overall, I've been a cyclist my whole life basically, but for maybe 15 years, a decade and a half, I was really hardcore into cycling. Probably doing at least 100 miles a week on average. I mean, sometimes I'd have 100-mile days with 50 pounds of gear. So I was really pushing my body, and well, as you could imagine, my knees started hurting. But I didn't think much of it. I just pushed through it. You know, I started taking the glucosamine or whatever that other one that starts with C is, supplements. It didn't help at all, but you know, I figured if I just take enough of them, they will. But it wasn't too bad, and like I said, I pushed through it. But maybe a couple of years ago, maybe it's, living in the mountains and riding a bicycle uphill a lot, it got to a point where the joint problems, the knee problems could no longer be ignored. So I stopped riding and I started walking a lot more. And seeing as we do live in the mountains and the paths, if there are any, are very treacherous with rocks and holes in the road, if you will, you're prone to falling on your butt, basically. But my problem was that because my knees and elbows hyperextend, sometimes walking downhill, I would slip on a rock or step in a hole, and one of my knees, usually the left one, would hyperextend and something would snap. I would feel something pull and tear. And then for the next 3 or 4 days, I would just hobble around trying to recover, or while recovering. And this kept happening more and more frequently, where it got to a point that I was beginning to think that one day I'm going to be crippled. If this continues this way, it's going to be crutches for your boy, or who knows what else, right? In the next 10, 15 years. So I actually started to mentally prepare for what seemed like an inevitable outcome, result of me pushing my body so much in my youth. But then I started eating an exclusively, or almost exclusively, a carnivorous diet, not even thinking that it would have any effect on my joints. I made a video about why I started eating this way. It should pop up on your screen right now, so go check it out if you feel like it and you haven't yet. But I did start eating this way, and I started noticing that my joints got stronger, that whenever this sort of accident would happen, and it started happening less frequently, but even when it did, the damage wasn't nearly as severe, and I started recovering faster. You know, I had made another video about how the carnivore diet had made me stronger. And I don't think it's just my muscles. I think it's also because it's made my joints stronger. You know, whereas before I was eating or supplementing with what these pharmacists think is we need for the health of our connective tissue. So they extract it from animals and they put it in a pill form and, you know, sell it to you for a lot of money. You know, it turns out that instead of taking that pill, actually eating that part of the animal is a much effective, much more bioavailable, much more sensical way of doing this. So as I was noticing that my joints were getting stronger and I wasn't having this problem as much, I wasn't, you know, first of all, I wasn't slipping as much because it seemed like my legs were just stronger and they were better able to resist. Even when I did slip and I wasn't able to catch myself and my knee did hyperextend, it wasn't, nothing was snapping anymore. And maybe I had a little bit of pain, but that would go away after a couple hours and I was just fine. So after noticing that, I started to consciously eat connective tissue of animals, you know, all that stuff that you throw away. Thinking to myself that, well, if I am supposed to eat glucosamine and that other one that starts with C, shouldn't I just eat it? And I can't even remember the last time my knee hyperextended like that. Because, you know, when I slip now, I tend to catch myself, right? And my joints are stronger to a point where, again, things don't snap anymore. And even if I do get a little injured, and this goes for a lot more than just my joints. And when I say joints, yeah, it's primarily my knees, but also my left elbow used to have that problem. These days, when I hit my hand with a hammer, it takes less than half the time to recover from the injury that it used to. My body just rebuilds itself faster. Probably because I'm giving it the exact type of tissue and the exact kind of cells that it needs to repair the damage. Bioavailability is important, especially to a carnivore. Well, maybe not especially, but, you know, the bioavailability of animal products is especially important to a carnivore, right? That's what we are. We are human species. We made ourselves eat stuff that's not our natural diet in the last 10,000 years. But prior to that, we were meat eaters. Cavemen didn't paint themselves picking apples from trees, did they? Or berries in the forest. Or Vitamixing their shake or what have you. Anyway, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a dietitian. I'm not giving anybody any advice. I don't understand why some people come over here and misinterpret what I do. I'm not a vegan. I'm not telling people what to do, except obviously tell the truth. I'm just giving you my experience and explaining to you why I make these videos and why I think most of these ethical vegans, the militant and loud and authoritarian ones, are pure human scum and garbage. They don't give a damn about people and how they're suffering. I mean, there are thousands of people, there are thousands of testimonials out there online. Those are just the people that we know of, that we could easily look up, of people healing themselves on this carnivore diet. I'm not saying it's going to work for everybody, but it's clearly working for a lot of people. I know it's working for me. But there are these people out there who want to take that away from you and make you suffer. Because they think that I'm going to think twice about some animal suffering for a split second, if that even. And that's going to stop me from consuming that animal, right? That I'm going to make myself suffer instead of some animal out there. You got to be out your mind if you think that's ever going to happen. There are lots of other bodily changes and improvements that I've noticed that I'll cover in other videos, but this was a major one for me. And if anybody wants to make me eat something or stop eating something, well, come over here and try to do that. Try to make me. My freezer's running low on grass-fed meat, vegans. Come holler at your boy. Anyway, one last thing, vegans. You see these little ponies walking around mowing the grass? Why aren't they running away? Don't they know I want to eat them? Obviously I won't, because they're not mine to eat, but I did eat a couple of donkeys before. Yeah, I shared with my wife and our 4 dogs. But they were about the size of these ponies and maybe not quite as cute. Definitely nutritious. Definitely delicious. And if another stray donkey wants to come on our land and cause trouble, they're cute. They're real cute until they're trying to kill you. But if another one wants to come by and start trouble, oh, there's room in that freezer for at least one. Anyway, can some of you vegans explain to me why these ponies aren't running away? They're free to go wherever they want. They're loose, but they're not going anywhere. And at night, they're going to go to their barn and they're going to come back tomorrow and mow the grass again. Is it perhaps because they have a symbiotic relationship with their owners? And they'd much rather do this, whatever this may entail, than go up a mountain and face the wolf or the mountain lion, or as Dave Attenborough would say, the puma. All these vegans out there acting like they're some kind of naturalists and one with nature, like they understand animals, when in reality, they have no clue. They don't know anything about nature or animals. And that becomes obviously painfully clear that when you start talking about nature, they start screaming, nature fallacy, as if nature could be fallacious. But that's a topic for another video. Anyway, Carnivore healed my severe joint problems. And I ain't going back to vegetables. Well, maybe some. Maybe some here or there. But if any of you vegans out there think that I'm going to suffer so that some pony or donkey or chicken or a goat or a cow doesn't, you lost your damn mind. Thanks for listening. Hope you liked the video as much as I enjoyed making it. Take it easy.